Hey boys, welcome back to the channel where we're going to be discussing and reviewing Game 2 of State of Origin. Queensland getting the victory at Suncorp Stadium in Game 2 to win the series, to fucking dominate the series, my man. They blew New South Wales away in this game, and again, like, it's personally, I think it's like a really good victory. Again, the fucking Blues had so much possession. We'll discuss. We'll go through like player on player, the matchups and so forth. But just in general, do they have the Let's just have a quick look at the team stats. It probably fucking even after scoring that many tries to get to 32-6, obviously the possession leveled up after having that many tries put on New South Wales. They still had 54% possession. That was almost at 60%, basically for the whole first half. And even like maybe 10 minutes into the second half, that's insane, dude. So, I mean, you know what? I'll talk about it quickly. The first controversial try, Xavier Coates definitely did not touch that football. The people that say that he touched the football, honestly, like, if they think he did, like, the rest of their opinions mean nothing. He didn't touch the football, right? So the first thing out of the way, didn't touch it. The second bit of 50-50 was the Holmes put down. Now, in my opinion, Holmes did, like, he did lose possession initially, but the thing that people seem to be forgetting is that he was facing backwards, like he was facing his own try line. So the initial like push back went back. Like he knocked the ball back, if anything, and then when the ball was on the ground, he grounded it. So I don't really. I mean, yes, it is a 50-50 one because I definitely could see them ruling a knock on, but he was facing his own try line, like he was facing the opposite direction, and he knocked it backwards. Like, it wasn't, if that was in normal play, like and they challenge it, it would have been like a knock back, if anything. So, I don't know, 50-50 one, but I don't know. I think it was a try. I could understand them calling that a knock on, but I do think he knocked it back originally and then grounded it. You could argue that a fingertip was still on it to not lose possession, but I don't know. I think it was a try. The second controversial try, was there a forward pass? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Again, it was another 50-50 one. I just honestly, forward passes in the game nowadays, I'm just like, people shut the fuck up. Like the amount of forward passes from both teams, like, Reece Robson threw so many forward passes from dummy half. I'm sure Queensland threw plenty of forward passes as well. They don't get picked up any time. But as soon as it's like a 50-50 one for a try, the fucking blow up deluxe. Like, honestly, if it was against me, I'd be annoyed as well. But at this point, forward passes, I'm like, fuck it, dude. They never call forward passes. Obviously, very blatant ones you would like them to, but the amount of forward passes that get thrown, it's like, you're going to whinge about one, but you'll get like 3 go in your favor. So I'm just like, that shit just, it annoys me just because there's just so many that get let go. Was it one? I don't know. 50-50. That was a 50-50. But regardless, the rest of the game, Queensland dominated. The Blues had so much possession. They had so many fucking penalties. I'm not here to complain about the refereeing because obviously I just talked about 2 tries that were, 50-50s. Apparently the play ball speed was quicker for New South Wales as well. I'm just looking at the other stuff. I mean, the big one here, the average set distance. I mean, it's only 5 meters difference, but it is fairly important. 7 line breaks to 2. Run meters, obviously. I mean, for the possession that Queensland had compared to Blues, that's pretty handy to be level. Where is the errors? So pretty high error rate from both sides. Penalties, bro. New South Wales had 9 fucking penalties to 2. Like, the ref, there was, oh my god, like, the ref was definitely piggybacking New South Wales, and like, yeah, a couple of them maybe were penalties, but at the same time, he, you know, and it happens, like, if a team is winning by a fair margin, I'm not saying the ref deliberately does it, but let's be real, there is a bias to just not, the 50-50 ones don't go to the team that's flogging. And there was so many times where they could have blown the Blues for a flop and a tackle and a shit like that, but the Queensland just got none of that. So the amount of fucking possession the Blues had to play the balls inside the 20-meter zone, you cannot complain about the calls going against you that game. I don't care. Like, you, the Queensland defensively, honestly, tip of the hat. Like, that's the most pleasing part about it. You know, they look pretty damn good in attack when they get going, but defensively, they just keep turning up. There was a couple of tries gone begging for New South Wales, and we'll talk about that in a second. So let's go through the team. Let's talk about what happened. So the fullbacks, battle of the fullbacks. Reece Walsh, again, exceptional, absolutely exceptional. Obviously a bit of a bit of a brouhaha at the end there. You know, I don't know. I mean, I know Walsh is gonna earn a bit of a Luai type tag, even though it's not really warranted because Luai is an actual dog. Walsh is, you know, he gets a bit fired up and people aren't gonna like the cockiness. I get it, but he was outstanding. He was honestly outstanding. Set up a couple of beauties. I mean, that kick return, like, he copped, it was so fucking funny too, because, like, he copped, I remember, I think it was Liam Martin, like, took him out in the air. For some reason, it wasn't a penalty, and then he made a line break off the back of that. It was just an incredible run, and it was karma at its finest. Like, honestly, I don't know how the hell it wasn't a penalty. He got his legs, like, taken out by Martin coming through, and then he just fucking went bush and straight through the middle. He was outstanding. I mean, just the toughness. Like, you can talk shit on Reece Walsh and all that, but man, he plays tough for the size of him. He puts his body in there and is not afraid of the contact, and that's what I love to see. James Tedesco, I mean, he looked dangerous at times. I'm sure he has a high tackle break count. His run meters, I'm sure, were high, but he just, like, compare him to Walsh. Walsh creates opportunities and nails them. Like, he just got to the outside, set up a couple of beauties. Tedesco just doesn't do that. Like, it's just a classic Tedesco game plan where if the Blues are dominating through the middle, and, like, the days of, like, Damien Cook starting at dummy half, playing off the back of the forwards dominating, Cook getting out, Tedesco back through the middle, and they could just carve up Queensland through the middle. And it didn't happen a lot, but for a couple of years there, it was looking a little dicey with some forward depth issues. But it sort of turned around pretty quickly in terms of the forward stocks for Queensland. But without that now, Tedesco just, I mean, he still tries to just get involved at all opportunities. He stunts the attack constantly. Yeah, I mean, he was never really a great ball-playing fullback. I did think a few years ago he improved a lot, and his, like, quick hands in a backline was actually okay, but I don't know. I feel like he's regressed a lot with some of his ball-playing. Like, I don't know. It feels like he's trying... It feels like he knows the criticism is there, and he knows the talk is about him being past it and other players should be getting the spot. And instead of, like, trying to adapt his game and improve in areas, he's trying to do what he did before, but just do it more often, which it's just having the opposite effect of their attack just looks so bad. Like, he doesn't link with their attack at all compared to pretty much any fullback in the comp. Like, they should complement the attack, but Tedesco just doesn't. So, not to just completely shit talk Tedesco, but yeah, he just wasn't, like, he was fine, but A lot of their issues do stem from Tedesco, I do think. The wingers, so Xavier Coates, Murray Tuolangi, fantastic, both of them. Defensively, I thought they were just outstanding. Tuolangi again came with a couple of big stops on Brian Toto, who had a couple of good opportunities. And, you know, the power of Toto, a lot of times will just power over, but Tuolangi just holds firm. He's like, their rushing defense, both of them was exceptional. They just picked their times well to come in. The Blue, I mean, again, a different Blues team and a couple of better ball playing players. Potentially they get on the outside of Queensland and score a couple of tries. But yeah, the pressure from the wingers, their kick returns. I mean, Xavier Coates, I was a little bit worried about him coming back in. I mean, I actually think he's been pretty good for Melbourne this year. I think he's been a lot tougher than he has been. I was still a little bit dicey on him coming in, but honestly, he was phenomenal. Like, I actually think he was better than Cobbo in game one. Like, he was great under the high ball. His kick returns were great. He's honestly gotten a lot stronger. He's always been a huge body, and he's always felt like a guy that should be busting tackles and making good ground. But he more often than not got dominated in tackles. But he sort of, I don't know, he's just gotten a bit stronger over the last couple of years and did some great stuff. Scored a beauty, and did he score a couple of tries? How many tries did he score? No, he just scored the one. Fucking dude, the game's like a blur. But it was a good try, that's for sure. Set up by Reece Walsh. And yeah, Tuolangi was exceptional again. Compared to Josh Addo-Carr, oh man. I talked shit about Addo-Carr last game, and I'll talk shit about him again because he is fucking awful. Yeah, just so overrated. Now, it's so funny because last year he was excluded from Origin, right? He wasn't picked, and there was, you know, it was a pretty, at the time, it was a bad decision, and like, I felt the same way. I was like, how is Addo-Carr not getting selected for Origin? And this year, I honestly felt the opposite. Like, he came back from injury, right? A pretty lengthy injury, and he hadn't been playing that good of footy regardless for the Dogs. Like, he'd been fine, but I think just with the backlash last year, obviously Fittler was going to select him, but he has been fucking awful. And I mean, the absolute cowardice of Addo-Carr in that last minute of play when fucking, I mean, all the players fucking grab it and you know, forming a fucking little push and shove circle. Walsh and Luai having jersey grabs there before any headbutts were thrown, and then Addo-Carr from the back rope comes with a haymaker trying to take his head off. Just so fucking cowardly and pathetic. It just gets your blood boiling, dude. Shit like that. It's so pathetic. And the funniest part about it is that he fucking tried to get him, and it was the weakest punch you'll ever see, and it got him like in the shoulder and neck area. Like, fucking it was good to see though. It was good to see. And I mean, just the carry on after he gets sin bin, like pumping the chest out. Like, mate, you've just been flogged at Suncorp, lost the series. Oh man, it's funny shit. Brian Toto, on the other hand, Brian Toto did what Brian Toto does. He was very strong. I thought he was pretty good. Obviously, Crichton going out to his edge, so they partnered together after Trbojevic got injured, unfortunately. But yeah, Toto did what he does. I still think Toto, I don't know, like, I do think he is a little overrated. I'm not trying to talk shit about every New South Wales player, but I do think Toto's a little overrated as being talked as like the best winger in the game. I just don't think he is. Like, obviously kick returns and, you know, quick play the balls, all that sort of stuff, he probably is the top of the list. Actually, Greg Marju's probably up there as well, but I do think he and Greg Marju are very similar. I honestly if Marju played at the Panthers, fucking Marju would be called the best winger in the game, right? Like, That's how it is. I mean, To'o probably a bit better defensively than Marju. But I don't think there's much difference. And Marju's pretty maligned as a player. I mean, again, I'm not trying to completely shit on To'o. I do like To'o, and I do think he's a very good winger in the comp. But he just, a lot of the areas that are important, like he's not good under the high ball. Defensively, he is a bit suspect defensively at times, and I do think he's lost a little bit of an edge to his game. Like even this game, he had a couple of chances where, I said Tuolangi sort of held him up, and like previous years, I feel like To'o would just steamroll and just bust through tacklers, but I don't know, he's just lost a bit of that absolutely explosive power to his game. He's still a monster. Kick returns and all that sort of stuff. So, he was good. He was solid, for sure. But I think compared to the Queensland wingers, I mean, he was far fucking better than Addo-Carr for sure. But I think they were both outplayed by their wing counterparts. The centers, so Tommy Trbojevic, very unfortunate. I mean, the more, like, on replay, it was just sort of those ones where, yeah, that's definitely a peck, right? Like, it wasn't anything. It's just one of those tackles where there was nothing really in the tackle. Originally, it looked like maybe a shoulder where he might have landed funny, but looking on replay, it was just one of those ones where obviously contact, it just does the peck, and very unfortunate for Manly primarily and Tom Trbojevic, because that's, I don't know, torn pec. It's probably season done, which is probably Manly done now, which is very unfortunate. And it's just, what is it with players just, I mean, Trbojevic has obviously been susceptible to injuries, but they've been like, hammies and stuff like that, not fucking pecs. Like, why are some players just so unlucky with injuries? It's a real shame. But honestly, like, after it happened, I wasn't like overconfident. I was still extremely nervous, and I was still like riding the game very closely. But don't get me wrong, in the back of my head, I was like, Queensland should win this game. Like, Tom Trbojevic going down, and we'll talk about the replacement in a second, but huge loss for the Blues. Because, even with a really stunted attacking, display, having a guy like Trbojevic in the centres who can just do something and create off nothing, that can still happen. It can still happen in Origin, even if the attack isn't running smoothly. And with the possession they had, if Tommy Trbojevic is out in the centres instead of a certain Cook, things could have been different. But, unfortunate for Tommy there. Stephen Crichton, on the other hand, obviously switched, like I said, to To'o's side. He was playing on, I think, right? He was playing on Addo-Carr's side originally, and then he switched over to To'o. I thought he was fine. Again, I thought Crichton was okay. I don't know. There's not really too much to say. Like, they just don't really. The way the Blues attack, they just don't give their centers any really good football to really show what they can do. I thought Holmes handled him. Actually, who would have marked up on him? Fido? Fuck, dude. The game's a blur. Who was it? Was it Fido? I don't know, dude. Regardless, I gotta watch the highlights again. the game's a fucking blur at this point. But yeah, he was fine. Like, defensively, he's always been pretty strong. He is dangerous with footy in hand. He is very fucking slow for an outside dude. The physique and the look of Crichton, you'd be like, he's lightning, but he is so slow. He's so slow. He's got to be one of the slowest sensors in the comp, right? I mean, when he made that break, I know Cherry Evans had the angle on him, but it's like I feel like most centers would have streaked away and scored there, right? Because Cherry Evans, he's quick. Like, he's sneakily quick, Cherry Evans, but he's definitely not one of the top running halfbacks in the comp. So, but yeah, Crime was solid. He was solid in a very well beaten team, I guess. Now the halves. So Cherry Evans and Munster. I mean, what can you say? They were great. Cherry Evans' kicking game, honestly, again, like one of the big, just huge differences in the halves for New South Wales and Queensland. Just Cherry Evans, he just has the best long kicking game. Like, he just does. There's obviously games where like a Cleary and even a Moses like kick superbly and kick very well, but I just feel like every Origin, or most Origins, Cherry Evans, even on the back foot with the possession and the territory the Blues had, Cherry Evans' long kicking game was fantastic. Like, just making so much ground with the kicking game. Munster's kicking game, on the other hand, there was a moment in the first half where the momentum started to shift from fucking Munster kicking on like third tackle, and it was a bit of a shocker of a kick. Tedesco made good ground off the kick return, and all of a sudden the Blues had a bit of ascendancy. I was a bit frustrated there because he did similar in the game one. Like, I get the play, and I like the play of kicking early, but honestly, Munster, his high kicking game is really good, but long kicking, I feel like Munster's a guy that often he tries to just kick it a little bit too hard and can shank a couple. So I just would rather him leave the long kicking to Cherry Evans, and he do the short kicks. He can shank those a bit as well, but the high kicks as well, he does pretty well. But long kicking, sometimes a bit left to be to the desired. But I mean, he was fantastic, very, very good. Both halves were just outstanding. The Blues, Luai. I mean, again, it's hard to really critique because Luai at times obviously looks dangerous, right? When he gets the ball, yeah, he dances and he can bust a tackle, and all of a sudden there's a little bit of a gap for someone. But the problem is that it just doesn't, like, it just doesn't really work in Origin because they have obviously set structures and stuff, and playing at the Panthers, obviously everyone's a bit more in tune. Like, a lot of the Panthers boys have been around like together and played together for so many years that it just works a bit better. Well, it works very well obviously for the Panthers, but in Origin, when you're getting the best players apparently in the state to play together, Luai just doesn't give ball to his outside centers. Like, even if like Trbojevic was in the team, right? Does Luai even fucking pass him the ball? Like, he just so often he'll get the footy, jump around, and then cut back on the inside, and then the center and winger on the left side are just catching a cold. Like, he just doesn't do any shape really with his outside men. So yeah, there's times where he looks really good and he looks dangerous and this and that, but as a team performance, like, it just does not gel really at all. So I don't know what to say about it. Personally, I just don't think Luai really works in the Origin arena. And I'm a Luai hater, but he's good. He's obviously very good at Clubland. He works well in that Panthers structure, but yeah, I don't know. I just that's why Munster, it's funny because Munster is, like, in a way, he's similar to Luai, where he plays very off the cusp and he can dance around and do all that sort of stuff, but he knows when to pull the trigger and just get the ball out to his outside men. Luai just doesn't do that. So yeah, Munster just has the balance so right in terms of when to take it on and when to actually get his men outside, or get his outside men some early footy. So yeah, I don't know. And I do, I know, oh man, I know Luai, and honestly, the Welsh and Luai shit, like, I know I was shitting on Addo-Carr, and I do still shit on Addo-Carr. I think that's so fucking cowardly. The Luai and Reece Walsh thing where they're shirt grabbing and a couple of headbutts thrown, that shit doesn't bother me, honestly. Like, that shit's fine. I'm not like mad at Luai or shit for that. Like, it's whatever. I do find, like, I know Luai cops a bit, for being a little bit, not serious, let's say. And a lot of it's like really beat up, and I do think it's over the top. But man, when you've just been flogged at Suncorp Stadium and he's out the back like laughing and fucking waving at Walsh and shit like that, like I just that right there, I do think there's a time when you just don't do that, right? Like surely at that point you're embarrassed and you just shut your mouth and just go back and go into the fucking sheds when the whistle blows. Like why? You know, it's just not a good look after being thumped and he's out there fucking laughing. And I know he's not laughing because he's having a good time. He's laughing to try and be smart and rile Walsh up and whatever. But you've been flogged. You've just been flogged in Origin, man. Like it's just not. It's not the place or the time to do it. Like I think most of the time Luai cops flack for that sort of stuff. I think it's very beat up, but that one in particular, I was like, come on, man. Like this is going a bit over the top with the carry on. Mitchell Moses. So I actually thought Moses was pretty good. Yeah, I thought he was pretty good. Like he took the line on a few times. He looked dangerous. His kicking game, I don't think it was as good as Cherry Evans, but he does. I'd probably say he is. I know it's a little harsh on Cleary, but I'd probably put Cherry Evans and then Mitchell Moses the second best like long kicking exponents in the game. He's got a great boot. I thought his overall just control of the first half was pretty good, but again, like the backline plays just didn't work, and not on Moses. Like he's got fucking like he's the first man off the ruck trying to organize, and then you got Tedesco out the back who will just do whatever. He'll go the other way. He won't pass it. He'll fucking go backwards 10 meters. And then if he does find Luai at the back again, he'll do the same shit. He'll go back on the inside. So Moses, for all him like trying and trying to create, it just fell on deaf ears with that the Blues plays and structure. I don't know. Do you put it all down to Fittler and his coaching? Probably. I didn't really talk about Cook. We'll talk about Cook in a second when we get to him. But the props. So Queensland. I'll run through this pretty quickly. We've been raving on a fair bit about nonsense, but Tino, excellent, great. Just, yeah, fantastic. Benny Hunt, again, really solid to start the game. There was a couple, he threw a couple of poor passes. Probably not one of Ben Hunt's best games, I will say. But defensively, he was great. He was putting pressure on, getting up out of the line, putting his body on the line. And then he came back in the last. He didn't play that many minutes, actually. He came back in the last few, maybe 10 minutes or so and finished the game out. But not one of Ben Hunt's best games, but still solid. Starting the game in Origin and did his job. Thomas Flegler starting the game this game, I thought was pretty good as well. I'd probably prefer him off the bench just to have a bit of impact off the bench, but I don't hate him starting. I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was fantastic. He didn't do anything wrong though, which I like. He didn't get sin binned, or there was a bit of a flare up. I thought he might get something, but it was fine. Dave Fafita was pretty solid. He didn't play the full 80. He played like 50 odd minutes, I think, on that edge. Ran strongly. Honestly, I thought Moses defensively has come on leaps and bounds in the last few years. Like in previous years, you'd think Moses is a bit of a turncoat, but he's honestly one of the better halfbacks defensively in the comp now, which is crazy to see. But I actually thought he handled Fafita pretty okay for the most part. Put his body on the line, but Fafita still made plenty of meters, was pretty powerful. He fucking, oh man, that one run where he barreled a couple and then Frizzell tried to come in, put a shot on him, got fucking sat down. That felt good. Ruben Cotter, I mean, what can you say about this man? He is an absolute marvel. He's so good. Like, he is just the epitome of Queensland. So he starts on the edge. He starts on the edge. Then when Flegler goes off, he goes to the middle. And then he plays through the middle for like a good chunk. And then I think he finished the game on Fafita's edge. So I'm pretty sure he played the full 80 minutes. If not, it must have been close to. And he was just superb. Like, he's just so good. I was worried for a second. Like, I was actually a little surprised they didn't take him off for a HIA when Toto ran over the top of him. But thankfully, he was obviously okay and played it out. But he was great. Paddy Carrigan, again, was outstanding. Nothing negative to say. Some of his carries were exceptional. Just the quickness and the footwork to get in behind the ruck is just great. With the Cotter and Carrigan, just not massive bodies, but just that quick, agile. It's really working wonders for Queensland. On the flip side, Junior Paulo started the game. Again, I don't know. I was a bit disappointed with Paulo again. I just think, I don't know. I think he's lost a bit of that. What he had a couple of years ago. He was still fine. Like, he had a couple of nice offloads, and I think his second stint was, funnily enough, I think his second stint was maybe better than the first. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. The Blues forward pack, didn't really notice a lot of them, if I'm being honest. Reece Robson, I thought was pretty good on debut. Did he play the full 80? He must have, right? He must have played the full 80 with Cook going to the centres. I thought he did a pretty bang-up job, but I got to be honest, as a Queenslander, I was pretty happy that Robson was going to have to play the full 80 because that is a tough gig in the middle of the field. Payne Haas was great this game. Fittler finally used Payne Haas how he should be used, and I think he played the first 50 minutes straight. He definitely had a bit of a spell, and then I think he came back for the last little chunk. But yeah, he looked dangerous. He looked more like the Broncos' Payne Haas we know. But again, Queensland did a really good job on him. Like, still hard to bring down, but there was a couple of good shots. I mean, fucking Nanai. We'll talk about him in a sec, but just a fantastic shot to just drive up underneath Payne Haas and put him on his back. He doesn't happen in club footy, but Queensland, it's a different beast, and the Queensland forward pack just really stopped that absolute dominance from Payne Haas. But he was still great. I still think Haas was easily their best forward. Frizzell, I gotta be honest, I'm actually going to look at the fucking player stats because I don't remember seeing Frizzell actually run the football. I don't remember seeing Frizzell basically at all this game. I'm very curious to see the stats. Like, he made a couple of tackles, I guess. He got bumped off by Fafita. But I don't remember seeing Frizzell at all. Hudson Young, he definitely played more. Did he play the full 80 this game? He was out there for a long time. He came up with a couple of bad errors, and he tried to get a bit niggly at the end, but I thought he was pretty fucking rubbish, which is great to see. Isaiah Yeo, again, I thought Isaiah Yeo was pretty bog average. Like, I don't know. I still stand by the fact Cameron Murray is the best lock in the game, and I think Pat Carrigan is quickly becoming the second / best lock in the game, and I think Isaiah Yeo is falling down the pecking order. I just think some of his ball playing is a bit overrated. Some of the passes are just not that great, and but yeah, he was fine, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really see too much of him. He tried hard. He played big minutes, but I think he just lacks that impact of a Cameron Murray. We'll talk about that in a second. The bench for Queensland were unbelievable. Lindsay Collins, just what a fucking game to back up game one with some of the most incredible moments. Game two, he probably outdid himself. Like the trap and scrap regather, a couple of big tackles. It was an incredible performance from Lindsay Collins. He again, I wasn't that overly confident with Lindsay Collins getting a Queensland jumper this year because the Roosters have been so bad, and Lindsay Collins just, I guess, in in the mix of it just doesn't look that good either. But you put him in a Queensland jersey, my man is the best fucking prop in the game. Unbelievable. Jeremiah Nanai, honestly, I know there was going to be a lot of people not happy with his selection. Personally, I was pretty happy he did get the nod over a Felice Kaufusi. I just think it's time for the mantle to pass over, and I think Nanai is the future. And I thought he was great. I thought he was fantastic when he came on. Like I said, he pulled off a big shot on Payne Haas. Defensively, other than that, defensively he was great. The kick pressure, and he looked good in attack. He did he threw that one really bad little flick pass after he made that great line break. He just burned Mitchell Moses, and he did an awful flick pass. No, it wasn't Moses. It was fucking Luai, I think. But an awful flick pass, which I was not happy with. But other than that, he was fantastic. Harry Grant played big minutes. Looked dangerous at times. He didn't really have to do too much attacking wise. He just sort of dished off like great serves from dummy half, which is what you get from Harry Grant. Good defensively, just solid. And Mo Fotuaika, I sort of forgot Fotuaika was in the team until he came on in the second half, and I was like, oh baby, that's a good replacement, bringing Fotuaika on. He provided some really good impact, some great charges, good defensive work, and it was a great inclusion for Big Mo. On the flip side, Damien Cook, fucking Fittler. Now we are gonna fucking bag Fittler for a second here. What the fuck are you doing with Damien Cook, man? Oh man, what the hell? That is honestly one of the most wild replacements I've ever fucking witnessed. So obviously the disappointment of Trbojevic getting injured, right? So you've got a center spot to fill. They obviously have no genuine backs on the bench, which is, it's a bit not great for New South Wales, but also not the absolute worst thing in the world potentially. I mean, Queensland have had to face this for the last couple of years. Like, I feel like the last couple of years we've had a winger or a center go down injured or a head knock pretty much every game. And someone like a Capel in the past, Ruben Cotter has done it. I think last game he had to go into the centers. Like, back rowers, they're obviously not natural centers, but it is it's a more natural position for a back rower to go to center. Obviously, it's dangerous still regardless, because you're putting a less mobile, less quick, big body back rower up against, more often than not, a more agile and speedy center. So it's always a bit dangerous, but it's what you got to do. So you've got, for one, you got Hudson Young, you got Tyson Frizzell. Both options would be fine, I think, to put into the center spot. You got Isaiah Yeo, who, it's many years ago now, but he did come through the grade as like a center, outside back. So at a pinch, you could have put Isaiah Yeo. Then on the bench, you got fucking Liam Martin, who could... I'm sure Liam Martin would put his absolute all into playing center. And then you got fucking Cameron Murray sitting on the bench for like fucking 50 minutes. Oh my God. And Cameron Murray... When Cameron Murray came on the field, he was outstanding. As soon as Murray came on the field, the Blues attack looked so much better. He was taking it to the line. He looked dangerous with ball in hand. I was shocked. And like most people on Twitter, it was like, okay, Murray's clearly not 100% fit, which poses the obvious question, why the fuck would you pick him? Because you've got, like, if Murray wasn't 100% fit and you weren't confident in playing, surely you could have put Colin Matangi on the bench, right? Like, I would have had Colin Matangi in this team 100% regardless. But despite that, he's picked him. And when he came on, he didn't look hindered at all. Like, I don't understand. Was Cameron Murray not 100% fit? Like, I really want to know what Fittler has to say about the Cameron Murray usage. Like, he looked fine. Like, he looked fantastic when he came on the field. I am so stunned. And he's just fucking thrown Damien Cook out to the centers. I just think he put Cook there because Cook is probably the fastest on the bench. And he just thought, okay, I'll put Cook being the quickest guy. But fuck, dude, going from dummy half to center, that's such a... he's not going to know what the fuck to do. Like, obviously, football players just typically are going to know structure and that sort of thing, but it's so foreign. Like, it's such a foreign just change up. Like, I'm stunned. I was stunned by that. I thought it was going to be like maybe a 10, 20 minute play and maybe see how it goes. It didn't go well at all. Like, Cook had a bit of a fucking struggle, and there's no blame on Cook. Like, fuck me. What is he meant to do? I thought eventually he would probably make a change and Cook would go into dummy half, potentially give Robson a spell, but that didn't happen. It didn't happen, man. Oh, wild. Honestly, wild stuff. Like, if that right there isn't the end of Fittler as a Queenslander, I will be fucking cheering, because if you are making decisions like that as a New South Wales coach, I sure to God want you to keep coaching New South Wales. That was insane. But yeah, going back to the Blues bench, Stefano Utoikamanu, I don't remember seeing him. I do remember seeing him for like 5 minutes. I'm curious to see his minutes as well, because again, I don't really understand why Utoikamanu was picked in the team. Like, I think he is potentially a very good player, but again, you got fucking Kalamatangi. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Like, they have options. Even fucking Campbell Gillard. But Utoikamanu was picked. He barely got any game time, so I'm not even like faulting Utoikamanu. Like, he wasn't given a chance. And then Liam Martin was pretty good again. He came on, fired up and looked dangerous at times, but the game was gone. Let's fucking... before I forget, I got to look at the player stats. Let's have a quick look. So Lindsay played 42 minutes. Yeah, Hunt only played 30 minutes, which is a bit unusual. Like, typically when Grant comes on, Ben Hunt stays at like lock and he'll play bigger minutes, but they actually went with like a bigger forward pack, which I think worked pretty well. Tino 43, Fafidi 50. Nanai came on, played 62 minutes straight. Like I said, looked really good. Carrigan 59 minutes. Grant 52. Flegler 38. Fucking Cotter 80 minutes, man. 80 minutes again, just unbelievable. And Mo Fotuaika 31. Fuck, it's not gonna show me. It's not going to show me the fucking tackles and shit, bro. What the hell? NRL.com is the worst fucking website, bro. Yeah, Cameron Murray, 33 minutes. Utoikamanu, 14 minutes. Isaiah Yeo played 80 minutes. Damien Cook had to end up playing 78 in the centres. Payne Haas played 68, which is fair. Frizzell... So yeah, Frizzell only played 54. Hudson Young played 62. The minutes are so fucking all over the shop, dude. Obviously one big one there, Trebojevic obviously getting injured and switched it up. But dude, I've got to quickly... I got my phone here. I got to look at fucking the stats quickly for Frizzell. Like, I honestly don't think he took a run. I don't remember him running the football, which is wild. Which is absolutely wild, especially considering they had so much football in that what's it called, in the first half. Whoops. Oh my god, the ads. Tyson Frizzell. Apparently he made 34 meters. 25 tackles. I don't remember it, but apparently he did. So, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, regardless, Queensland too damn good. Blues fucking just unorganized, just no structure. Again, Latrell Mitchell not playing. Trebojevic getting ruled out. Yeah, it's a tough game. Queensland probably should have won, but yeah, the possession the Blues had, they had their chance. They had their chance to win. They had the players that still could have won, but just not good enough. Just not good enough at all. But regardless, other than that, hopefully you guys are Queenslanders. if you're New South Wales fans, apologies. Although no, not at all. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned. Obviously, game 3 in a couple of weeks. I'm still going to be nervous. Obviously, it won't be as nerve-wracking. The game's won, but I still want a whitewash. I want a maroon wash, dude. It would be lovely, but the Blues are going to fire up for game 3, and honestly, fuck, dude. What is the Blues team going to look like for game 3? Like, Fittler surely knows that his, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what New South Wales hierarchy is going to do, but surely Fittler has an inkling that he's potentially gone, right? Does he just make wholesale changes? Does Nico Hines come in? Does fucking the forward pack change up? I can't say, he's not going to pick up Utakamano again, right? He played in 14 minutes. Why did he even pick him? What the fuck? It's so wild. I don't understand, but I think it could be a vastly different Blues team in game 3. You would think Latrell Mitchell would be fit. Obviously no Trebojevic, so there'll be a change in the back line for sure. I wouldn't be shocked to see Latrell and Campbell Graham both get a crack. I mean, that's probably what I'd fucking pick, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It could be anything. It really could be anything. So we'll stay tuned. I think Queensland, they got the winning team here. There's not going to be too many changes. And yeah, hopefully they can get it done. But I'll see you guys in the next one.